All right, going to be working more with circles and segments and lines that go through circles today on this 14th day of December. 5 more classes and then we get a couple weeks off. Looking forward to that. When do y'all come back? On the 4th? 4th, teachers and students return, so 2 full weeks off. It's not bad. 14 days. Not bad. All right, so let's define a secant. That's a line that intersects a circle and 2 points. A secant is a line that intersects a circle in 2 points. So let's draw a picture of one. Here's circle A. Here's secant L. All right, that's a line that intersects a circle in 2 points. So secant L here intersects circle A at points X and Y. All right, we can draw another one right through here. Secant M intersects circle A at points C and D. All right, got the idea of what a secant looks like? All right, so now we've got a rule related to secants and chords. If 2 secants or chords intersect in the interior of a circle.
Fuck you.
What? You kiss your mama with that mouth? Did y'all hear that? It wasn't very nice, was it? Probably talking to his mom. If 2 secants or chords intersect in the interior of a circle. Then to measure the angle formed, is 1/2 the sum measure the angle formed is 1/2 the sum of the measure of the arcs Okay. intercepted by the angle on its vertical angle. The picture of this will make way more sense. So when you get that written down, let's draw a circle. And then two secants and let's be sure the secants intersect inside the circle. Intersect inside the circle. All right, so let's take, first of all, this angle right here. We're going to call this angle 1. And we're going to say the measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 All right, so let's add an A, B, C, and D right here. And then in these parentheses, we're going to put arc AB plus arc BC. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 times the sum of, do you see this arc that was formed by the two secants? And this arc is formed by the two secants. Everybody see that? Angle 1 is equal to 1/2 arc AB plus arc. No, that's wrong. That's not BC right there. Erase that, please. Sorry about that. That's arc DC. Now right here, let's put an angle 2. And then over here, let's say, based on this first rule, all right, the measure of angle 1 equals 1/2 of arc AB plus arc DC. So now use your higher order thinking and write the rule for the measure of angle 2. The measure of angle 2 is going to be equal to, what's it going to be equal to? Based on what we just wrote down.
1/2 times arc AD plus arc BC.
Thank you very much. It's going to be 1/2 of the sum of arc AD and arc BC. So now we get the measure of angle 2 by taking half the sum of yellow and yellow. Now, do you see where my cursor is right now? angle 2 and where my cursor is right now, won't those be the same? Because they're vertical angles, right? And then angle 1 and where my cursor is, those two angles are congruent, aren't they? All right, because they're vertical angles. And then what do all four of those angles inside have to sum? Very good. They all have to add up to 360. All right, so keep all that in mind when you're solving those. So let's look at this problem. Looks like we're going to have two chords intersecting inside of a circle. '84-degree angle right here, and 130-degree angle. We're asked to find the measure of angle TVU, and here's T, here's V, and here's U. And they put this X degrees right here. So we're really solving for X, right? So the measure of TVU, or X degrees, is going to be equal to 1/2 of the 84 plus 130. And what do you get?
107.
Very good, 107. 107 degrees. 107 degrees. So if this X degrees equals 107, then this side equals 107. What's my angle measure going to be where the cursor's sitting right here? Where the cursor's sitting, right there. What's that angle measure?
73.
73. And you got that because these two angles are adjacent and they form a line, right? They're a linear pair, so they sum 180. So this angle V up here would be 73 degrees as well. And I think that's about all the information we can dig out of that one, right? All right, so let's do one more. Another circle. Secant, two secants. We've got a 75-degree arc right here, a 143 arc, and now they're asking for this angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find, based on the information given, we can't find X right now, can we? But can't we find this angle? Right in here? Can't we say that that angle is equal to 1/2 of 75 plus 143? And that angle would be equal to 109 degrees. Now we did that first because that's the only thing we could find with the information given. But can't we use that like we just did on the previous problem? This 109 plus this x degrees angle, they have to sum 180, don't they? Because they're adjacent and they form a line. So then our x degrees is going to be equal to 180 minus 109. That's 71 degrees. So there's your x. And then let's look at one more application here, okay? Now let's say you got a circle and you got two chords. And now here's what you're given. You're given this big arc is 154. You're given this angle of 120. And now here's what you got to solve for. So if you use the rule and substitute, all right, what we said earlier was that this angle, this 120, this 120 degree angle, is equal to 1/2 of the 154 plus x. Everybody all right with that? So let's get rid of this 1/2 first. This is 1/2 times a quantity in parentheses. You can divide both sides by 1/2 right here. And just be careful when you divide by 1/2, all right? When you divide by 1/2, it's the same as doubling something. So 120 divided by 1/2, that's 240 equals your 154 plus your x. So if we subtract 154 from each side, we get 86 degrees. So this arc up here would be 86 degrees. Any questions on that? Very good, very good. All right, next rule. If a secant and a tangent intersect at the point of tangency, then the measure of each angle formed is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. If a secant and a tangent intersect at the point of tangency, then the measure of each angle formed is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So we got to draw a picture of this. Here's our tangent. Line L is our tangent. Here is a secant. We've got two angles right here, angle 1 and angle 2. Here's the rule, the measure of angle 1. The measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 of arc AB. 1/2 arc AB. This angle right here, this angle formed is 1/2 of this arc. So the measure of angle 2 is equal to 1/2 times arc BCA. So if you're looking for this angle, it's 1/2 of this arc. And the yellow arc's a minor arc, the blue arc's a major arc. Let's write this here. Let's say that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 has to equal what? The measure of angle 1 and angle 2. Very good. 180 degrees. They're next to each other and they form a line. So I'm sure you'll be asked a question about that. And then the measure of arc AB plus the measure of arc ACB. What's the sum of those two arcs? The yellow arc and the blue arc. Think about it for a second. Tony, what's the sum of those two arcs? Very good, 360. Why do you say that? Thank you. Very good. Is that what you were typing in? Were you typing your notes in? You were typing your notes into your phone, saving them electronically? No? All right. Any questions on any of that right there? Finding the measure of a angle using its intercepted arc. That's a tangent and a secant, right? Now that secant doesn't have to go through the circle, okay? Same rule if this, if AB stopped right here, right? if you had this picture, same rule, right? Doesn't matter if this segment goes through the circle or if it stops right here on the circle, does it? Still got two arcs, still got two angles, all the same rules. Rules still apply. All right, got one more rule. Got one more rule for you. And it's a little wordy. All right, if two secants a secant and a tangent or two tangents intersect outside a circle, then the angle formed, or then the measure of the angle formed is 1/2 the difference of the intercepted arc. Intercepted arcs. All right, so we got 3 situations to draw now. Everybody done writing or caught up writing? First circle. If two secants intersect outside a circle. So here's a circle. Here's a point outside the circle. Here's one secant. Here's another secant. That's two secants intersecting outside of a circle. In this case, the measure of angle A is equal to 1/2 of arc DE minus arc BC. Half of blue minus yellow. And make sure when you're doing this type of a problem that you always subtract big arc minus little arc. Got it? Bigger arc minus smaller arc. If you don't do that, once you get a negative difference, And if you take your negative difference and multiply it by a half, you'll have a negative angle measure, and you don't want that. Okay? So angle A equals the half of DE minus BC. All right? There's your first situation. Second situation. Now you've got a circle. And you've got a secant and a tangent. The rule's the same. The measure of angle A is equal to 1/2 arc DC minus arc BC. That's blue minus yellow again. There's your yellow. There's your blue. All right, same deal. I mean, if this is, I don't know, what's this, 100 degrees? And this is 60 degrees? Then the measure of angle A would be equal to 1/2 of 100 minus 60. So in this case, the measure of angle A would be equal to 100 minus 60 is what? 40 divided by 2 is 20 degrees. All right, and then finally we have two tangents intersecting outside of a circle. The measure of angle A is equal to 1/2 arc. Now major arc, BDC, minus minor arc, BC. Here's our blue. Here's our yellow. All right, so here's another way you could see this. Let's say that you were given the measure of angle A and it's 38 degrees. And you're given this arc right here, BC. And now you need to find the measure of arc BDC. Okay? So just take the given information and substitute it into the rule. The measure of angle A, which is 38. Take 38 make it equal to 1/2 of arc BDC minus arc BC, which is 140. Bless you. We used this concept a little bit earlier. So if we divide both sides by 1/2, 38 divided by 1/2, $76 equals arc BDC minus 140. If we add 140 to each side, then 216 equals arc BDC. Something's wrong here, isn't it? Something's wrong. What's wrong? What's that? Yeah, we need, there's a math mistake somewhere. 38, 140. I didn't, but what's 38 divided by 38 divided by 1/2 is 76. No, this is going to bother me now. What's going on here? Somebody help me. 38, the angle equals the big arc minus the little arc. 140 plus 76 is 216. I wonder if I think I know what's wrong. Say again. A little louder. If I made angle A 40? Well, I think what's wrong is that angle A can't be 38 degrees if it's intercepting a 140 degree arc. I got a feeling that mathematically that if you took a 38 degree angle, right, and you started moving it closer to a circle, when it finally hits the circle, it's not going to create a 140 arc. And I just made those numbers up. I didn't get them out of the book or anything. I just threw some numbers up there on the wall because, I don't know, I thought maybe that this 140 kind of looked like 140. And I thought that maybe this 38 looked like a 38. But these numbers have to have a definite relationship in order for this to work, don't they? Can you guys picture that? That, you know, if you had a circle sitting here, a perfect circle sitting here, and then out here you had some angle measure. Well, when you started sliding this thing closer to the circle, when they finally touched and made the two tangents, that arc would have a direct relationship to this angle measure, wouldn't it? It would have to. You couldn't just arbitrarily change the numbers. All right? So understand that. That's how you would use the rule. Unfortunately, the numbers that I picked off the top of my head didn't work in this case. What's that? If we would have made this 40? Yeah. All right, so if we make this 40, if we make this 40 here and 40 here, right? Here and here and here. So then 40, and then it'd be 40 divided by 2 would be 80. Something's still wrong, isn't it? It's going to be 220. Oh, I got you. Nice job. And then the 220 and the 140 equals your 360. Well done. Well done. It'd be interesting to see how that relationship kept working out between the angle measure of the two tangents and the intercepted arc at the circle. So that's the correction. That's what happened on the first time through, and that's why it happened. So, all right, with all of that being said, those are a bunch of good rules for one fine Monday morning. Our last Monday morning of 2020, right? Last Monday morning of 2020 together. What is this, 10-5? This is 10-6. All right, so your assignment for today, page 133. And 134. Well, I'm going to do it this way. On page 133, you got 1 through 12. On page 134, you got 1 through 10. It's going in the basket when you're done. Or in the basket upon departure. For you e-learners at home, when you send me a picture of your work, make sure that you show all of your work for each problem. If you just send me answers, you will not receive credit. So send me a picture of both of those pages with all of your work. If you're doing your work on a separate piece of paper, send me a picture of that as well. So in class, it's going in the basket upon departure. E-learn. Email a pic. And if nobody has any questions, that's all I have for today. E-learners are excused from the meeting at this time. And again, if there's no questions, I'm going to close the meeting at this time.